Om Shri Sita Ramchandrabhyam Namaha Namo Gurubhyaha. 15th August 2023, Independence Day offering to our Mother India, Devi Saraswati. Topic: Love, Calm Management, Vedic Science as versus modern Western science. Why this topic? If we do not manage, control our love, then we will be managed, controlled by our love. Either way, love wins? No. This is undesirable because uncontrolled love, calm, will forcibly provoke us into trespassing the line of right conduct, maryada. Example: both Ramji and Ravana love Sitaji. Ramji's love does not trespass the maryada, the line of right conduct, but Ravana's love does. Why? This is because Ramji knows the correct love management and Ravana does not know. Why? This is because, in contrast to Ravana, Ramji knows the correct definition of maryada based on the truth, fundamental truth, param satyam, innermost self, pratyagatma, the antaratma, as revealed by the Vedic literature. Ramji is called Jitakamaha, one who has won over love. Ravana is called Kamajitaha, one who has won, the one who is won over by love. Ravana offered flowers with love to Shivji, the fundamental truth of this creation. Don't read God of religion, but his overwhelming love to consume the entire creation betrayed the truth lover inside him. Consequently, incorrect love management destroyed him. If we want to be Ramji and avoid being a Ravana, we need to learn love management based on Vedic science as opposed to based on both modern Western science and religion. Love management alone is the topic in the Bhagavad Gita also. Arjuna took to the battlefield because he thought, having taken birth as a Kshatriya, it was his duty, dharma, to fight against adharma. On the battlefield, Arjuna realized that his opponents were his own loved friends and family members. Love smitten and confused, he decided to respect his love for his friends and family members over the love for dharma and protect the fundamental truth-based Vedic dharma, irrespective of who the opponent was. Inability to manage love, kama, made the powerful Arjuna powerless, durbalaha. Sri Krishna respects to his lotus feet, at his lotus feet, the teacher of Vedic science, taught him love management based on the fundamental truth revealed by the Vedas. Arjuna was rescued by right knowledge from being deceived and defeated by his own love. In Vedic India, the very first objective of education was brahmacharyam, to live in accordance with the universal Vedic fundamental truth, in contrast to live in accordance with our individual body. If we also wish to be rescued by right knowledge, then we should painstakingly look into this topic with an unprejudiced mind, full of enthusiasm and gratitude. Modern India has most unfortunately, without due examination, accepted modern Western science as the fundamental truth and rejected the Indian Vedic science, mistaking it as a sectarian Vedic religion. Modern Western science regards love to be a voice of the body, whereas Vedic science regards love to be the voice of Atma, the innermost being of all, Paramatma. In the eyes of Vedic science, one who looks upon love to be the voice of the body is called Ravana, and the one who looks upon love to be the voice of Atma is called Ramji. Contrast between Ramji and Ravana isn't just between arbitrarily viewed ideas of subjective goodness and badness. As ill-informed teachers generally teach in the modern Western science-friendly, constitution-based modern schools of modern India. Ignorant of this defect of modern Western science, as a result, modern India has become a land of Ravanas by constitution. Even after 75 years of independence, India still proudly claims to be modern because it respects modern Western science, which disrespects Vedic science without presenting any case against it. It's time to take a self-respect redeeming corrective step, to say the least. Question 2. Why love management based on Vedic science only? Love management on the basis of modern Western science. Modern Western science, knowledge based only on verifiable empirical reasoning and observation. Now, this is called modern Western science. And what is religion? Religion, knowledge based only on mere unverifiable, invalid belief. Do not translate religion as dharma and belief as shraddha. Now, Vedic science, based on Veda as a valid, independent means of knowledge. In the topic of Atma, do not translate Atma as soul. We claim that the Vedic science alone is based on fundamental truth, as love management based on it does not violate the fundamental truth, hence, it alone is beneficial. Modern Western science and religion are not based on fundamental truth. Therefore, their love management violates the fundamental truth and hence is harmful. Question number 3. How is modern Western science not based on fundamental truth? Pramanam, valid means of knowledge. According to modern Western science, direct observation and direct observation based inference are the only means of valid knowledge. Pramanam. Direct observation means the observation based on 5 senses: sense of hearing, sense of touching, sense of seeing, sense of tasting, and sense of smelling. Direct observation based inference means all predictions made on the basis of observed data. Modern Western science does not accept Veda as an independent means of valid knowledge in the topic of the I, the observer, the lover, the Atma. Meaning, modern Western science is both agnostic, meaning Nastic, exclusively not accepting Veda as a Pramanam, and secular, exclusively not accepting religion as a Pramanam. For modern Western science to be secular is most favorable, but to be Nastic is not favorable. Charak Samhita of Ayurveda, a book of traditional Indian Vedic science regards the commitment to Nasticism, Nastika Agraha, as the highest reason for human fall from Maryada. Patakaha Param. See Charak Samhita, Sutra Sthanam, chapter 11, verse 14. This is the reason for which we claim that modern Western science is based on untruth and is most harmful. Question number 4. Where do modern Western science and Vedic science disagree? Modern Western science and Vedic science disagree on the meaning of the word I. The word I in general means the self, the lover, the self-conscious observer, the thinker, the toucher, etc. Now, the question is, what is the fundamental nature of this universal experience of I? This is where modern science is violating the fundamental truth. In contrast to Vedic science, consider this fact, which is taught in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad of the Shukla Yajurveda. Navare sarvasya kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. Adhyay 2, Brahmana 4, Bhag 5, Yagyavalkya Maitreyi Samvadaha. It is well known that for the sake, gratification of one's self, Atma, everything in this world is loved by the loving self, and not for the sake of all the loved ones. Atma vare drashtavyaha. This Atma should be inquired into. What is the nature of this unconditionally loved, loving self of all, which is the very fundamental basis of love? How? If one's own self, Atma, was not an unconditional altar of love, then no one would have desired to love, because for whose sake would one love the other? Love for oneself, Atma, is unconditional and unselfish by nature, whereas love for the other is conditional and selfish by nature. Modern Western science has no idea about these two different natures of loves, of the self-conscious self of all. The question to be answered is the self-conscious self a mere attribute of the body, or the self-conscious self is an independent reality irrespective of the body? Here, the Vedic science disagrees with both modern Western science and religion. Question number 5. Okay, then what is the nature of the I, the lover, according to modern Western science? According to modern Western science, the I means a living being, a living body, a self-conscious body. And body means the body, the senses, the mind and the intellect put together. Self-consciousness is the adjective of the whole body, the noun. The body is fundamentally made of inert materials, which become self-conscious under certain conditions. This is called birth of the I, the self, the lover. As the not self-conscious body, the noun, changes, meaning grows, transforms, so does the self-consciousness, the adjective. When the not self-conscious body, made of inert materials, loses the gained self-consciousness forever under unfavorable conditions, then it is called death of the I, the self, the lover, the self-conscious. Thus, for modern Western science, life is inert, not self-conscious material, turning into a noun, gaining self-consciousness as an adjective. Under favorable conditions, death is to lose this adjective over a life period under unfavorable conditions. This claim of modern Western science violates both reason and the universal human experience, and hence it violates the truth. Violation of reason, unself-consciousness and self-consciousness can never be noun and adjective to each other as at the same time. It's like saying darkness is the noun of light, is the noun and light is its adjective. Darkness and light can never be noun and adjective to each other under any condition. Darkness and light can not exist, cannot even coexist. What to talk of their being noun and adjective to each other? Violation of universal human experience. Second, everyone experiences the self, the I, the observer, drashta, to be ever self-conscious, chetanaha. The not self-conscious body, achetan, is experienced as the observed, drishyam, as the not I, anatma. The natures of the conscious self, the I, and the unself-conscious body, the not I, are distinct and opposed. How can I, Atma, and not I, Anatma, be noun and adjective to each other? Only to the self-ignorant and mistaking, the two mutually opposed natures appear to be mixed up. This is a universal correctable error, corrected by the Veda alone. Both modern Western science and religion are ignorant of this truth, of this true nature of the self, the I, the observer, and hence are guilty of violating the fundamental truth. Question number 6. Modern Western science is based on inquiry and re-inquiry. Is it not? It is not rigid and closed like the religion. How can modern Western science be accused of violating the fundamental truth? Modern Western science is rigid and closed, not like the religion, but in a different way. It regards only the observable object of knowledge to be real and not observable, not object of knowledge to be unreal. By this criteria of reality and non-reality, modern Western science is correctly able to reject the idea of an external, all-powerful creator and maintainer of the universe, God, promoted by the religious belief. According to modern Western science, such a God is not available for observation or inference. Hence, it is a mere invalid belief. So far, so good. But when it comes to Veda, modern Western science needs to re-examine its definition of reality and unreality. The observer, the subject of observation, is not available for observation and inference. The observer cannot be observed or inferred by merely on this basis. Modern Western science cannot claim that the observer is unreal because it is not an object of observation. The subject of observation can never become the object of observation and vice versa. But on this basis, we can't claim that the subject of observation doesn't exist. It's like saying, I don't exist because neither am I able to observe myself, nor am I able to infer myself as an object of knowledge. The observer, the subject, knows itself, meaning that the subject of observation is self-illumining, Swayam Jyotihi, self-evident, Swayam Siddha, self-validating, Swayam Praman by nature, means it validates its own existence without the need of any external observer to validate it. The same self illuminating subject illuminates the observed object, the body also. The self conscious observer is an undeniable universal experience. No one can invalidate the validator itself. Non self consciousness of the very experiencer can never be experienced. The observer is self conscious of itself. Veda is an independent means of knowledge which points to this universally experienced but misunderstood fact. Modern Western science is mistaking the irrefutable, fundamental truth revealing word of the Veda with the unverifiable belief revealing word of the religion. The God created soul of the religion is an unverifiable belief, not validated by any verifiable universal experience or reason. On the contrary, eternal, uncreated, observing self, Atma of Veda, is the fundamental truth validated both by verifiable universal experience and reason. Modern Western science is rigid and closed to accepting Vedic eyes, which is the reason why modern Western science is blindly concluding the observer to be an adjective of the observed inert body. Egoistic modern Western science is limited because it has no means of valid knowledge, pramanam. It knows the correct pramanam to know the correct nature of the observer. On the contrary, ego-free Vedic science accepts direct observation and indirect inference as for the observed reality and Veda for the observer reality. For traditional Indian science, there are two realities, the observer reality and the observed reality. The observed is an appearance, Maya, in the observer, the fact. The observed, the body, is a perceptual reality or a perceived to be reality, and the observer is an actual reality. Like when the rope is misperceived for a snake, the snake is a perceptual reality and the rope is an actual reality. Thus, for the traditional Indian science, the Indian traditional science had no problem in accepting direct observation and direct observation based inference and Veda as three distinct valid means of knowledge, pramanam. Each pramanam reveals its distinct topic of knowledge. Hence, there is no conflict. Vedic science based Ayurveda, medical knowledge, accepts all the three pramanas, whereas modern Western science based medical knowledge does not accept Veda. See Charak Samhita, Sutra Sthanam, Adhyaya 11, verse 17. Word of Veda alone is an independent means of valid knowledge in the topic of self-evident observer. Modern Western science has no idea of what is self-evidence taught by the Vedas, and still modern Indian scientists and thinkers are blindly towing its line. In ignorance of fact alone, the observer appears to be adjective of the observed body. But In knowledge of fact, on examination, one can see that the observer and the observed are both of absolutely opposite nature. It's time Indian scientists looked into the rigidity of modern Western science. Are new generation Bhagat Singhs ready for a new inquiry based Indian movement of freedom, for freedom from rigidity of modern Western science? Question number 7. How is this inquiry done? Consult Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 13. Dehi nosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam yatha. Commentary by Sri Adi Shankaracharya ji, respects at his lotus feet, on this verse should be consulted. In ignorance of one's true nature, the observer mistakes himself to be the body, which undergoes transformation from babyhood to youth to old age. On examination, one can see that the state of babyhood is replaced by the state of youth, which in turn is replaced by the state of old age. If the observer of these three mutually distinct states was the adjective of these states, then the observer would also have disappeared and appeared with the states. However, we see that the observer is one unchanging constant in all these states. If the observer would have appeared and disappeared with the states, then there would not have been any self-recognition. That is, I was the baby, I am the youth, I will be old. Everyone universally experiences self-recognition. This proves that the observer, the lover, is in fact an unchanging witness of the three changing states of the body. Only in self-ignorance does the observer mistake himself to be changing with the body. On this basis, one can also infer that the observer, who can assume and discard the three mutually distinct states of the same body, can also assume and discard the mutually distinct bodies in future lives. Just like the moon appears to be moving from the dark fortnight to the bright fortnight to the ignorant, but to the wise, the moon is ever full, ever free of any fortnights. To the ignorant, the dark and bright fortnights are the adjectives of the moon, but to the wise, the moon is the fact and fortnights are a mere appearance, Maya. So the observer self is ever existent prior to birth of the body and also self-existent post-death of the body. Knowledge of this fact makes the wise fearless of self-destruction. This repeated assumption of the bodies by the self-observing observer self is in fact an appearance in ignorance. In fact, the observer is ever free from birth and death, being the very truth behind the appearance. The Atma is mistaken to be limited to each body only in the state of self-ignorance. In the state of knowledge, the same Atma is recognized to be Paramatma, the unlimited self of all the bodies. Do not translate Paramatma of the Vedas as the god of religions. State of bondage of Atma is only a correctable notion for Vedic science. This is the reason why moksha, complete freedom from rebirth, the result of one's own actions in the state of ignorance of one's true nature, is only possible in Vedic science and not in modern Western science or religion. What has been said here is merely introductory, an appetite builder. The subject requires a deep inquiry, which in turn requires a preparedness and consequent digestion, a fruitful labor of love. The present writer is also a mere student, awestruck at the brilliance and tireless dedication of the erstwhile line of teachers. Mere remembering their lotus feet purifies the mind. Question 8. How does this affect love management? If the claim of modern Western science that I means body is true, then the lover, the observer, is a self-conscious consumer, the lover, the observer is a selfish consumer by nature, meaning selfishness is of the consumer is an unchangeable fact whether you like it or not. Then the meaning of the enlightened love would only mean calculated consumerism of the observable creation, both living and non-living, in contrast to uncalculated whimsical consumption. As per modern Western science, consumption is more a physical phenomena and loving is more a mental phenomena of the body. As per Vedic science, the body doesn't consume and the mind doesn't love for its own sake. It is the Atma present in the body which consumes and the same Atma present in the mind which loves, only in the realm of appearance, ever remaining in fact the non-consuming, non-loving witness of all consumption and loving. It is well known that the truth, the fact, is ever free from the erroneous appearance and still it as though pervades the entire appearance. This truth can be called the all-powerful creator, maintainer and resolver of this appearance, Maya creation, totally distinct from the external all-powerful creator of a real creation of religion. This is called asangatvam, in appearance attached but in fact detached at the same time, creator and a non-creator at the same time. This is the strength of Ramji, the Maryada Purushottam, the very incarnation of the line of right conduct, rooted in the most fundamental truth. As per modern Western science, Maryada, the line of right conduct of consumption and love, will be decided by the subjective individual body and the mind respectively. For the religion, Maryada, the line of right conduct of consumption and love, will be decided by the book of belief and interpreter's prejudice. For Vedic science, Maryada, line of right conduct of consumption and love, will be decided by the Atma, which is in fact one for all the living beings. Hence, it is ever unprejudiced, unbiased, unselfish and eternal. If modern Western science is true, then selfish consumerism alone is love. Unselfish, unconditional love is not possible. Modern science can only at best warn the selfish consumers, Ravanas, that the negative results of violating the Maryada of natural laws. This consumable creation is the result of natural laws as per modern Western science. No God of religion and no appearance and truth relationship of Vedic science is valid for modern Western science. Love management would mean a calculated strategy, individual or collective, to ensure maximum sustainable consumption without violation of natural laws in the insatiable selfish interest of the consumer, Ravana, a brotherhood of bandits. Then a lover and loved relationship would be equivalent to a clever butcher and the goat relationship. Mother India, I love you would mean I am your butcher and you are my goat. I want to butcher you in a sustainable manner, meaning professional manner. Be happy with my crocodile tears based on strategic calculated nationalism. Love would be just a buyer and a seller relationship, a clever monitored power game. Both the respecter of and the violator of natural laws will eventually have the same destiny of becoming inert materials in the end. Life is just like a shooting star, zero before and zero after, for modern Western science. So, why should this fundamentally zero Mr. Consumer, existent by accident of some chance mutations, exercise self restraint? As opposed to Vedic law of karma, natural laws make no distinction. They don't reward their respecters and violate their violators on individual merit and demerit. They are unfair and cruel. Level playing, marketplace based love management of modern Western science could mean constant opportunism, cutthroat bargaining, professionalism, a clever marketing policy, even between a husband and a wife, keeping the society in a constant state of brutal competition and mutual mistrust in the name of right to equality of consumption. Sick and sad. Justice would mean a level playing field for all the insatiable competing consumers, read selfish lovers, rats, Ravanas. Who would provide this level playing field when everybody is a selfish, viable consumer? May the honorable modern Western science care to answer. Who would be Ramji when everybody is Ravana by nature? According to Vedic science, this above mentioned love management is characterized by Ravana, the one who is ignorant of his Veda revealed fundamental truth. Modern Western science based love management can at best transform a selfish Ravana into an enlightened selfish Ravana, but cannot transform humanity into unselfish Ramji and Sitaji. Conclusion. In today's India, unselfish Ramji and Sitaji are considered impractical and outdated ideals because nobody appreciates the Vedic science behind their conduct. Indian constitution regards Satyameva Jayate, truth alone wins over untruth, a statement from the Veda, as its guiding principle. But actually, its meaning has become the truth of modern Western science wins over the untruth of traditional Vedic science. Is India living in a state of self-delusion? Whom are we fooling? India needs a secular constitution, but not a Nastic constitution. We have to be watchful of unmindful translations. Rather than feeling most fortunate that we have taken birth in a land of Vedas and we have a love duty to preserve a cultural heritage based on tireless labor of love for the most fundamental truth, we seem to be an ashamed nation, silently and secretly creating an edited, watered down, market friendly version of Vedic culture, which is in line with modern Western science. The Vedic baby needs to be given a caring wash, but we seem to be desperate to throw the baby with the wash water. Vedas are a mighty body of Veda-based literature in Sanskrit, which is pure labor of love created by a dedicated line of dedicated teachers and students. Guru Shishya Parampara is rotting, unread, ununderstood because of disregard and neglect, because modern India is no longer a Mahayajna, a Tapobhumi of Vedas, but a marketplace, Bhogabhumi of modern Western science. Nobody is to be blamed. We find ourselves within a choiceless script of life, inspired by the voice of Atma, Paramatma, which is the unselfish voice of love. We need to redeem ourselves and do our bit with love, for love, with bhakti. Love for truth alone prevails. Thank you. Swami Nityanand Saraswati Ji, Ayodhya Puri. This is the Gmail, WhatsApp, iti sarvam shivam.